This is a first installment of 5 spontaneous minutes on the subject of democracy. And, it's a big subject, basic to our Constitution. And it's funny how nobody's done anything. No one talks about how we haven't allowed our democracy to evolve. We've just taken a 250-year-old plan and said, okay, that's the plan, we'll just leave it alone. And it's a plan that's broken in so many ways. People talk, we have a representative democracy. Well, yeah, we're represented based on our geography. We have, we don't vote for a representative. We vote for a party candidate, and it doesn't. The choices don't necessarily have anything to do with a representative, and whoever wins the election gets to basically call half the constituents who didn't vote for him, who might even think he is evil incarnate, his constituents, and they are those constituents are left with that as their representative, something they absolutely hate, and they're obligated to call that their representative. That's because we've allowed the system to be all geography based. We've taken, 250 years ago, they didn't have computers and didn't have the, you couldn't get to New York. It took you 2 days. I mean, it's a completely different world. And in this world, we should take advantage of technology, and we should actually allow people to vote for a representative. To actually, in theory, we should never lose an election for a legislative body. I mean, obviously, governors and presidents, those are elections that have to be, majority takes it all. But elections for representative houses don't have to be that way. They shouldn't be allowed to steal half of the people's representation and call it theirs. And so anyway, online on the website you can read a whole thing on the subject, but I mean there's a way to do this, where you can make it possible for people to vote for third-party candidates without throwing their vote away, and you can guarantee people that whoever gets their vote will be somebody consistent with their values, with their ideology, that their ideology will actually be represented. An example of how the system doesn't work is if you consider how the only way minorities, both ideological and racial, get representation is through segregation. If they aren't segregated somewhere, if they don't have pockets of population, they have no chance. And it's only through segregation that they gain any representation at all, and that makes the system a big joke. I mean, a third of the population smokes cigarettes, or at least 20-something%, and but you won't find one in Congress. And so here's a great irony. I mean, that's how you won't find it in the state legislature, that's for sure, and yet these people will decide to tax something 800%. And cigarette smokers actually have no representative protecting their interest. They don't even have somebody to get up on the floor and to call all you tax-exploited bastards what you are, because you're just taking advantage of a minority vice. And they can't get up on the floor and start talking about the hypocrisy of it all, and start talking about why don't we tax fat, and why don't we tax sugar, and why don't we tax alcohol, which obviously, 50,000 people a year are killed on the highways. Let's figure that 30,000 of those is alcohol related. You're talking about babies, women, children. You're talking about tons of innocent victims. Guess what? Cigarette smokers don't have innocent victims. But anyway, cigarettes are another subject. We're on democracy. But the point is that we need a system that represents ideological differences, not geographic ones.